Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, please, if you're out in the gathering place and back, if you can wrap up what you're eating and hanging out, talking to friends and family, and head into the sanctuary. We're about to begin the memorial service. Thank you.
So I was just going to wait to the end of the song. So if I talk like this, can everyone hear me okay? No? Okay. Like this, can everyone hear me okay? I guess they took me seriously when I said the song. Okay, now if I talk like this, can everyone hear me okay? Well, that wasn't so nice. Okay, this is okay? I'll try not to get too loud. Thanks, Trinity. Welcome, family and friends, neighbors, everybody. My name is Dave Matlock. You can see in the program, I'm the preacher for the Brentwood Church of Christ. And I wanted to mention a couple of things before I really get started. I was given 2 specific instructions before I prepared for this. It was to celebrate the life of Dan McGlathery and to wear my boots. And I really appreciated the second request because usually I put on a real nice suit and it wouldn't have gone with my suit, and it won't fit in my suit after the holiday season right now. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I am here. Because the truth is, I actually didn't know Dan McGlathery. I never met him. So it's an interesting situation when you're a preacher and you do something like this, because I tell you the real reason why I'm here is because Michelle asked me to be here. And in all honesty, 2 weeks ago today actually is the day that we lost Dan McGlathery. And until that day, I didn't know him, I'd never heard of him, but I knew what kind of person he was already because I knew Michelle. My wife was on her phone, like many people are before they go to bed. She was on her Facebook, and then she kind of drops her phone and says, "Oh no. You know Michelle?" And I says, "Yeah, I know Michelle." And she says, she just lost her father. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're already on my prayer list. I already pray for them all the time. And I just couldn't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, sweet mercy, that family is going through so much. And so I knew about this man. And there's something amazing about somebody like that, because when Michelle asked me to do this, I tell you right now, I did not hesitate for a second. You know why? Because I like Michelle. Because when Michelle asked me to do this and she showed me who her dad was in her eyes when she asked me, and when I saw and see her character, we've done some work together. She's helped me and my wife work on some business together. And when I saw her work ethic and the kind of person she is, the kind of strength that she has shown through many of her experiences, I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be a good guy. And it's been a pleasure to get to know him through the eyes of other people for the last 2 weeks. I couldn't help but think about a text from the good word that I want to share with you today. It's from the book of Deuteronomy, and it says, the words that I command you shall be in your heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, as you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And the reason why that is the text that struck me as I was doing these preparations is because I could tell that this man's posterity shows that he kept the principles of good, hard work, and morality within him, and he taught them diligently to his kids in many walks of his life. As you take a look at your program, you'll see that there are 3 golden rules that he lived by. Always do your best. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm a preacher, so I think about the verses that go along with this stuff as I read these things. And I'm thinking that sounds just like 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's almost like he read that straight from the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus said it in Matthew 7:12. And always do what is right. And I just couldn't help but think about James chapter 1 and verse 19. So I was thinking to myself, man, he's got to have been the kind of guy that taught these things to his children. And I haven't gotten to know the other 2. They seem like they're all right, too. Doug and Christy. Yeah, they seem like they're all right. But, it's been a neat experience, and I wanted to share that with you because when it comes right down to it, when it comes to celebrating, one of the greatest things to celebrate is what somebody has left behind, because he did leave something behind. He left behind something marvelous, good, hard-working people, and people who have the guts to fight for things. And you can see that in his grandchildren as well. So though we're here to celebrate, I just want to mention something, because even though a celebration is what he personally requested, that was passed on and told to me. I just wanted to mention something because, it can be easy to convert, our joyful experiences into celebration. But that doesn't mean that the pain goes away. And I have to share this little gem of wisdom that I had experienced because it's only been about 3 years or so since I lost my mom, and I wanted to share something as you think about this and as you realize that, the pain doesn't just go away. You still can convert the pain into honor. Whenever there is pain, whenever you go through a massive struggle, whenever especially for his posterity, when you realize you can't pick up the phone and call him anymore, you can't do that anymore, it hurts bad. But the reason why it hurts is because you loved him. The reason why it hurts is because he loved you. The reason why it hurts is because you got to know him and he knew you. And if it wasn't for that wonderful connection, if the pain was really light, wouldn't be that big a deal, but when you realize how hard and how much pain there is, you convert that into honor, and you realize it's an honor to feel pain. It's an honor to hurt, because that means you got a heart, and you loved, and were loved. So I wanted to share that with you, because that's what got me through the loss of my mom. So, with that, I wanted to invite you all to say a prayer with me. I'm going to ask you to bow with me in just a moment, and then I'm going to say a couple more words, and I'm going to read the eulogy to you, and then I'm going to go on and hand the microphone off to somebody else. But would you all, in whatever custom that you see fit, pray with me. Our glorious Father in heaven, we are so honored and so grateful to be here and to be able to thank you at this moment in celebration and in honor, also with the pain and the tears, for giving life to the friend, father, the son, husband, uncle, and so many more things. And from what I've been told, horse show announcer. We're so thankful that you gave him life and that everybody in this room was touched in some way by this man, even me, who wasn't even given the opportunity and the privilege of knowing him personally, has been able to be touched by him, by knowing his children and others who have known him. And we are so thankful that these kinds of experiences are things that you allow us to be able to have. We're so blessed that the breath of life was given, but we know that one day for each of us that life will be taken away, as it was for our dear friend and neighbor. We pray that you would keep his soul, as it was said or written in the slideshow, goodbye for now. We pray that you would keep his soul and be with each of us and help us to never forget the kind of man he was and is in our hearts to this day. We ask this in the name of the Son, Jesus, we pray. Amen. Now, like I said, I don't know how well I did at the celebrating part, but I want you to know that right before I read the eulogy, I had a good time getting to know Maureen, and Al and Marcia and Michelle. They got to meet with me, and I really enjoyed reading the eulogy, because let me tell you right now, I don't think anyone noticed, which kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, but I don't think anyone said anything about my trombone belt buckle. Did you know? Okay, a couple of you did, all right. Now, I thought to myself, man, what better way to honor this guy than to wear my trombone belt buckle, because I was a trombone player too. I am a trombone player. Bass trombone, actually. And as I was reading through the eulogy, I read the name Gillette, and I says to myself, wonder if that's any relation to Mick Gillette. Sure enough, he was in marching band, and I was able to look at some of these pictures. And it's kind of funny, because we're kind of kindred spirits, me and this Dan McGlathery, And it was good to get to know them. We had a really fun connection, didn't we? It was fun. I really had a lot of fun talking to you. And one other thing I saw in some of the pictures in his younger years, he had a lot of hair, and so did I in my younger years. So with that, I wanted to read the eulogy, and another kind of special request was to read it as much like a horse show announcer that I possibly could. So I'll do the best I can, and as theatrical as I may get, it's all in honor of Dan McGlathery. Daniel Paul McGlathery, born on February 16th, 1955 in Concord, California, to Shirley and Gerald McGlathery, embarked on his life's journey with passion. Raised in Walnut Creek, he immersed himself in a variety of experiences as an avid traveler by air, water, and road, a dedicated Boy Scout, and a talented musician, having come from a long line of successful musicians. During his college years at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he pursued a business degree, Dan contributed his enthusiasm for music as a trombone and trumpet player in the marching band and jazz bands. It was there that he met Maureen, a young flat girl who would become his lifelong partner. Their union blessed them with three stupendous, as Dan would say, children: Michelle, Christy, and Doug. Professionally, Dan excelled as a business systems analyst in South San Francisco, first with Ingersoll Rand and later with Leapfrog. Beyond the corporate world, his melodious voice resonated for 2 decades as a bingo caller, the Blue Devils Bingo Hall, and horse show announcer, showcasing his love for entertaining others, even though he always claimed he was an introvert. In the later chapters of his life, Dan, alongside Maureen, proudly owned the Double Eagle Ranch in Brentwood. A man of diverse talents, he found joy in culinary arts, solving Sudoku puzzles, and applying his resourcefulness, often dubbed MacGyvering, to tackle his challenges. Surrounded by love, Dan is survived by his cherished wife of 45 years, children and their significant others, sister, adored grandchildren, niece, and nephew. Known for his compassionate spirit, he was ever ready to lend a helping hand, the first to come to the rescue, and had a knack for brightening a room with his infectious laugh and dad jokes. You want the mic? To his family, he was affectionately known as the legendary Popsicle, Pops, or G Pops. Dan McGlathery, a man of unwavering morals, integrity, and a strong work ethic, led by example. He instilled the golden rules in his children, providing them with a solid foundation to navigate life. As we bid farewell to this extraordinary soul, his legacy of love, laughter, and kindness will remain eternally engraved in our memories. He went out with his boots on, leaving behind a trail of lasting footprints in the hearts of those who were fortunate enough to know him, a testament to a life well lived and a legacy that endures. Dan will dearly be missed, but his spirit lives on in the countless lives he touched. And now, I'm going to thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you to his family, to his wife, to Michelle for asking me to do this. I really appreciated the opportunity. It was an honor and a privilege to stand up here and conduct this portion of the service. But I have one last thing that I need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you Michelle Garrett.
Thank you, Dave. We needed that after hearing the eulogy. But as soon as I thought of Dave, I just knew he'd be the perfect person. He reminds me so much of my dad in so many different ways. So thank you, Dave, for being here today. I can't believe that we made this happen. It was like 15 days and Christmas smack dab in the middle of it all. But we could not have done this without all our family and friends of friends and this incredible church that has been so amazing and helpful. And Anthony with the delicious food. Weren't the tacos great? Yeah. So good. Yes. So I'm the oldest daughter, Michelle, also known as Pickle J. Puss, Gizzo J. Mo, and Sheshelle LaBelle. My dad always had crazy nicknames for all of us, so I should introduce the rest of us. Christy, my sister. She was Bunkus J. Fiddlebum and Honey Pie Moosh Mouse. She's our horse trainer. My brother Doug, the baby of the family. He could make anything out of duct tape growing up, and now he's the mechanical engineer that makes machines that I can't explain. And he was known as Buford T. Horncow, and that there big type guy. Last but not least was my mom, and she was B.W. Bunswoman. As you probably have caught on, my dad was the legendary Popsicle. He gave himself that title. But to us, he was Pops. When the grandkids showed up, he was G-Pops, but we all just called him Pops. So a few months ago, my dad and I somehow got on this conversation, which inspired today's festivities. He said, when I go, I want it to be a party with tacos. I don't want you to be sad, as if that's possible. but we're trying. And he wanted to go in Living His Pop's Life shirt. This was a declaration of his sense of humor and personality. And that's why all of us today, all of us family members, have our Living the Pop's Life shirts on today. And I know he would have loved that. So my dad grew up in Walnut Creek, and as we mentioned, he traveled by air, land, and sea, which was true. He sailed with his parents, and he traveled in their small airplane, car, and RV to so many places. Once I asked him why he never pursued getting his pilot's license like his parents, and he explained how the one time he flew, he was looking out at the horizon because he had to watch the horizon, and he quickly realized that it would put him right to sleep. So that was probably not the best idea to become, a pilot as a hobby. Now I want to tell you about how my parents met. You've seen some pictures in the slideshow. So they met in college at Cal Poly, and my dad was in the marching and jazz bands. He was actually the vice president. And my mom was a flag girl, and they were traveling to the Raiders game, and they were playing the halftime show because Cal Poly band was kind of a big deal. And they hit it off, so they ended up talking the whole bus ride there and back. And then my dad mentioned that he was from Walnut Creek, and my mom's like, "You must know my brother-in-law." And my dad's like, "It's a big city. There's like 55,000 people. It's probably unlikely." And so she told him his name, and he paused and admitted, "Yeah, he's my neighbor." There are no coincidences. It was meant to be. Fast forward now to life with kids. My dad was an obnoxiously cheerful morning person. Always was. Christy and I shared a room. He would barge into our room every morning with his hair sticking straight up because he always had epic bedhead. And he would begin to bomb us with stuffed animals. As if that wasn't enough, yep. And as if that wasn't enough, it was accompanied by a song. Do I dare sing it? Yeah. So it began, touchdown, every morning, 10 times, not just now and then. Put that chicken fat back on the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken again. And then the marching would begin. Da 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 da. And then Doug was the next victim. If we ever got hurt and started crying, he would always go, "Don't smile." Did you ever do this to you, Trinity? Don't smile. And it would make us so mad because ultimately we would smile. And then it was followed by, "I think somebody has a case of terminal fakeitis." No, Dad, we're really hurt. As a family, we used to go camping every year. And around the campfire, my mom would always want to tell us her life story, which would put us right to sleep. Sorry, Mom. My dad would tell us, "The chicken heart that ate San Francisco." Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. He taught us to always leave the campsite cleaner than we found it, and that was just one example of his integrity and morals. Oh gosh, we're to this part already. When we were little, he was always playing records, classical music, but often he would play Zorba the Greek. And he would have this dance that he would do around the living room. And it was so hilarious that we would be like rolling on the ground laughing at him because he was a big man and he was dancing really dainty. Do you know that song? Well, maybe Ed can help us out in the back. So he would start out and he'd be, I think he did like a toe tap. So it made such an impression on me that when I got married, I knew it was the right song for our father-daughter dance. So it speeds up. So Ed, can you jump ahead? So we were dancing, and he would be speeding up, going back and forth. And then pretty soon, you remember this? So this is our father-daughter dance. Thank you, Ed. We were incredibly shy and timid kids. He did shake it good. Yep. It went out far. Yeah, I know. I'm doing my best with my bum knee. But we were incredibly shy and timid kids growing up. I know it's a shocker. So when my dad would watch football, and he watched the 49ers, he would get so loud, it would scare us half to death. All of a sudden, we'd hear like, woo, yeah, baby. I can't even do it as loud as he would. Yeah, baby, yeah, baby. Yep. He loved those Niners. My dad was a laugh out loud kind of guy. He had a great smile, as you all know, and an infectious laugh. He would laugh so hard until he would eventually cough. Right, Trin? She said, I'm going to miss Pop's cough. His contagious laughter would soon leave my mom in tears because she was laughing so hard at him laughing so hard. I didn't realize how unique that was until one day I said to my husband, Tim, why don't you ever laugh out loud when we watch shows? I do. I thought everyone did. I guess not. He was a problem solver, which was why he was so good at his job, business systems analyst. He could design a mean Excel spreadsheet. But he also applied it to many everyday problems. How to get the water to drain right. How to be more efficient in feeding the horses. The best side street to take to avoid traffic. My dad was the Human Waze app before there was Waze. Many of his projects might not have ever been finished to completion. But the concept was there. Yeah, that's why we have Luke. But he also thrived on improving himself. Tony Robbins, the motivational life coach, was his favorite, and he listened to his CDs religiously. We had the amazing opportunity to attend one of his 3-day seminars together. And Linda's here, that went with me. And that was an experience I'd never forget. At one point, we had to take our shoes off and walk across the rough concrete to get out to where the burning hot coals were. And since my dad had diabetes, he couldn't walk across the hot coals, but I did. He said just having to walk across that rough concrete barefoot was his version of walking on hot coals. So it was no wonder that we had to recite the 3 golden rules most night at the dinner table. I'm not sure where he came up with them, but we've never forgotten them. Always do your best, always do what is right, and treat others how you'd want to be treated. And then we had to share what made us say wow today. When we couldn't think of anything, we would always say, this dinner. Yeah. As we were secretly feeding the dog under the table the things we didn't want to eat. Drawing, cooking, and cooking were also some of my dad's talents, in addition to music. His cookies were amazing. The kitchen was a wreck. I definitely got that from him. The artistic part, I think Christy's probably the better cook. But we all agree that washing dishes is the worst. But his creativity and problem-solving abilities that I inherited led me to my career as a graphic designer, which is a bit of both. So thanks, Pops. Most of you probably know him in his cowboy boots. He absolutely loved being the tour guide for the ranch. But my dad was always a suit. We were the lucky ones riding horses while he rocked a suit and tie. I was actually the first one to get a horse out of the family. It was an ugly little horse. She would rear up when you pulled back to stop, and I loved her. She was $400. My dad only agreed if I shined his shoes for a month. But I was Daddy's girl, and I think I only did it once. Who knew that this was the beginning to all of us owning horses and my sister's lifelong career as a horse trainer? He was so proud of her and my brother for all their hard work and their dedication to their jobs. One thing he loved was to drive to the rescue whenever we needed him. Pops, he loved driving. He drove Colton and I to the hospital a few times, and he never minded or complained when we were stuck in horrible San Francisco traffic. But his job most days was pickup duty for Christy's kids, Trinity and Tanner, from school. He loved doing that. He was so proud of his cousin Mick Gillette, who was the trumpet player in the famous band Tower Power, as you all have figured out, that he actually named his dog Mickey G after Mick once he earned his angel wings. Yep. His grandkids right here. So he would blast one song in particular for pickups, and this CD never left his car, and it's one of Mick's songs. Trinity, Brookie, Christy, I think I need some help here. Can you guys come up here? So this is our 3-seater car. And I think we just need to give you guys a little taste of what pickups were like. Trinity's the driver. Ed, could you give us a taste of the soundtrack? Nice and loud. Woo! Don't crash, Trin. Good job. That was the bumpy road on the way back to home, huh? Great job. That was a perfect impression. Tanner knows it better. This past year, my oldest son, Cameron, actually began to work at the ranch with Pops. And when Tanner wasn't in school, he was out there working with them too.
Yeah, when I worked, you got paid.
When they worked together, they both got paid. Cameron might look like my husband's mini-me, but he has the McGlathery cheesy sense of humor. I would pick Cam up after work, and he would always say every time, "Pops and I had a great time." What did you say, installing the plastic flowers? Oh, smelling them? Might.
Yeah, and they smell, and he says, "They're plastic." And I'm like, I got this stuff.
In case you couldn't hear that, he said, Cameron, smell these flowers. What do you think about them? And Cameron's like, I smell them. And he's like, they're plastic flowers. And Cameron's like, oh, I got the scent of plastic. Only my mom plants fake flowers outdoors. But she's done that forever, yeah. Even back in her old house. They're like, wow, they look great. How do you keep flowers in bloom all year long? Well, my dad adored his wife, his kids, his niece Jeanette, nephew Michael, his sister Marcia, Megan, and all the significant others, Tim, Luke, Alana, Adam, Jasmine, Al, and all of the little kiddos, Cam, Colton, Tanner, Trinity, Henry, Autumn, Harper, Jackson, Maverick, Wyatt, Cosmo. Woo! They were his whole world, and we all knew that he would do anything for any one of us, whether he saw us every day or once a year. Yes? Oh, and he adored his tractor. Yes, he did. He did. It was just totally embraced Pops. He's always kicked back on the tractor. On December 15th, he sat on the tailgate for an hour talking to his 7-year-old granddaughter, Trinity. Christy really wishes that she took a picture because it was so cute. But if you know Christy, her phone was dead. He tossed the football with Tanner, and he checked on my mom since she was sick. The next morning, after their dog Mickey got my mom's attention, she found him peacefully passed on to heaven with his Sudoku book and pen still in his hands. But he keeps letting us know that he's still here with us in spirit. The TV has mysteriously turned on several times. Trinity's like, Nana, why is Pops' TV on? So they went and turned it off. A few hours later, it came on again. So they took the remote and they took the batteries out and put it in the kitchen. And a few hours later, it turned on again. Yeah, it just kept turning on. I told them if they unplugged it and it turned on, then we'd really need to freak out. They did not unplug it, but that would be a good test. They didn't want to scare them. Luke would be too scared. For Christmas Eve, my mom bought those table poppers that you rip apart, and they have like a toy and a joke in them usually. Well, we found a Sudoku puzzle in them. Well, that was no coincidence. And we made a new tradition that involved dad jokes. And what do you know? There was one about a trombone in there.
I got
Yeah.
a dad joke. What's Skeleton's favorite instrument?
What?
Trombone.
The trombone. But I know my dad would have hated to be in a hospital or a nursing home someday. He liked to be the caretaker, the giver, the person you could count on. Instead, he went out, as we said, with his boots on after a typical good day's work, hanging with his favorite people, and was at peace. My sister made the comment how he picked a beautiful day, and she was right. Thank you for being here today and celebrating with us. We really, truly appreciate all your friendship over the years. It's so great to see so many of you, some friends from way back and some new. Later, you have a treat in store for you. My dad's cousin, Mick Gillette, he always played the trumpet at all the family's funerals and events. He even him and Meg played a fundraising event that we had for Colton one year. And since he's already earned his angel wings, we have his grandson that's gonna play for us, Maverick. Woo! But not yet. You can still relax and breathe. Yeah. He's very nervous, but he's gonna do fantastic. But I know my dad would have loved that. After we finish our service, we're gonna have cookies and coffee out there so we can visit some more. But now we're gonna have my dad's sister, my Aunt Marcia, come up and share some memories from their childhood. And then if anybody else would like to say a brief something, share a story, you're welcome to. I know it's scary, but I did it. But thank you all so much for being here today. I don't know. My Aunt Marcia.
says you just hold it, and then Michelle's voice comes out. So I'm Danny's big sister. I'm 9 years older than he was. And when he was born at San Francisco, at Concord Community Hospital, they brought him home after a couple of days. I had been sick, and so I didn't get to see him right away, and I was really anxious. I was across the street, and I knew my new baby brother was in there. They wouldn't let me near him. So I was finally well enough to come in, and I took one look at him, and I thought, he's got a clown face. They had painted him with gentian violet, so he was purple all the way across here, and I was horrified. And I suggested that maybe they should take him back. We kept him. He was always really happy and really busy and always in trouble and always giving me a hard time. He excelled at it. So he was really good with his sisters, singing and dancing and waking them up. He started with me, no singing and dancing, just waking me up whenever he could. He was really smart. He had in kindergarten and first and second grade, he had the same teacher, Mrs. Gass. We went to Canada and we're walking through Waterton Lakes Park and we're looking at shops and things, and he said, let's go in here. And so we went in this shop where they had sweaters for sale. Now, why he would want to go in a shop to buy sweaters, I don't know. But there were these people in there, and they said, where are you from? And we said, oh, we're from California. And they said, oh, what part? And we said, oh, the Bay Area. And they said, what part of the Bay Area? And we said, well, it's a little town called Walnut Creek. You probably have never heard of it. And they said, oh, we have a relative in Walnut Creek. Same kind of a thing. What's her name? Mrs. Lloyd Gass. And Danny looks at them and goes, that's my teacher. We had to only go like 500 or 600 miles to drive up there and find his teacher. He started driving when he was about 3 years old. My dad put him in the front seat of the car. It was kind of hilly where we lived, and so Danny released the brake, and the car rolled across the street, knocked down the neighbor's tree. They got almost to the corner of the house, and my dad was able to stop it, but that was his first driving lesson and not his last. So now you know why he had such a love for driving. Up the street from us was this little boy whose name was Jimmy, and Jimmy became his best buddy and is still his friend. We called him James for a while because he didn't want to be Jimmy anymore, but now he's Jim, and he's a great guy, Jim Hansen. When I was 18, I left for college, so Danny was about 9 years old. So there were years in there that I would only see him in the summer or breaks and things, but it was always fun to come home. He was always trouble for me, and he was born on February 16th, and I was really disappointed that he wasn't born on February 14th because I wanted him to be born on Valentine's Day. And frankly, I wanted a sister. I had no use for having a brother, but I got stuck with him, and I was the luckiest girl online. So there, that's my story about Danny. Not much there, but he's so special to me, and we stayed really close the whole time. And we got through both of our parents leaving ahead of us, and it was great because he's a good teacher. Thank you. We'll miss him.
Honey Pie Moosh Mouse here. So my dad traded in his road rage commuting style for driving the tractor and helping us at the ranch. He was my right-hand man. He fed the horses. He cleaned horse poop. He would help hold down cattle while I'd doctor them and stab them with needles and put my fingers in their eyes and dig out foxtails. And he, would help put on horse blankets, get kicked where the sun don't shine. He would get bucked off the ladder. So he was there through thick and thin whenever I needed him. And I will truly miss him. And he is no longer by my side, but forever in my heart. And I feel so blessed to be able to work with him in these past retired years. And I think it was Arnold or Jerry. They would always say, "Hey, Dan, Arnold, where are you? Oh, there you are. He'd say, how's retired life? And he goes, oh, I'm just tired. I'm not retired. So, tribute to you, Pops. I love you forever. Hello. You go, girl. Let me stand with you.
Okay, so one time we were climbing the haystack, and then he told me a horrible dad joke. It was so horrible it made me laugh. And then he said, "Do you want to jump off the haystack?" And I was like, "No." And then he told me another bad joke. And then I told him a dad joke. And then I said, "Do you want to jump off the haystack?" And of course he said yes. And then one time we were sitting on the couch just watching TV, and then he paused the movie, and then he told me another horrible dad joke. And it was so horrible it made me laugh. And then I told him a horrible dad joke, and then he laughed, and of course he coughed. And then he told me another dad joke. And he told me another, and another, another, and another.
Sounds like Pops. Yep.
Yep, it did sound like Pops. And every time I told him a dad joke, he would laugh. And then after, he would cough.
Love you, Pops. Wrap it up.
That's the story I wanted to tell you, all of you, about, because he was my favorite.
Aww, I love it. Good job. I kiss you. Oh, snap. Okay.
Okay, so my grandpa, or more known as Pops, you want to talk about that? He is known for his extremely horrible dad jokes, and he still lives by them, and some of them are so bad, he says them in crowds, and everyone just looks at him in a stare gaze like this. And then in here, and I know he's somewhere, wherever you are, Reggie, the second worst bad joke teller. You and Pops had a lot alike, and I'll tell you what. If he was still here, guess what you would be doing right now on the mic? Bad dad jokes.
Do you have a bad dad joke?
No. So, I didn't know Pops, but I do know that he was a good man from the stories I've heard. And I'd just like to say, may he rest in peace with the wings.
I just want to say that he did like to drive. I left a card, I can't remember if it was my license or credit card, over at the ranch one time, and he was willing to come out, I don't know, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and bring it out to me. And I said, I don't need it that bad, it's okay, thank you. But I'm really thankful that before COVID hit, we got to do Sunday dinners a lot. So every Sunday we'd go out there and hang out at the ranch all day and have a great dinner. He was amazing. You could take over his house. There would be kids everywhere and he wouldn't care. He came home one time and teenager me was living in part of his living room and he didn't say a word about it. Just, yeah, she lives with us now. But one thing that I did see every time I looked at him was the love that he had for my aunt. He was devoted heart and soul to her. Their love will live on forever. It was amazing. Every time you would look at them, he would do anything for her. And I know he's still watching you. And we love you, Pops.
Thank you. You saved me from talking with my teary eyes.
Well, can I start with a bad dad joke? Can everybody in the crowd say, "Who's there?" Well, I don't know if I hear an owl, but Well, I've heard a lot of stories about him, and I know that he was he was proud to be Popsicle, the greatest popsicle ever. And that's kind of it.
I'm Megan Gillette. Mick was my dad. And he loved Danny. It was Danny. It was always Danny, so I didn't ever say Dan. Like, it was Danny. And he was always Mickey, right, but you didn't say that to him. Danny was cool because he would show up. You know, my dad would do gigs in Brentwood. He would do local school shows trying to raise money for kids and keep school programs alive. And you guys all were dragged. You know, Doug, that was the last time I saw you. You know, he would bring everyone out because the family came out for each other. You know, there was a long line. The Gillette family, they would camp, they would music, they would do it all with all the love. All the love. And after my dad passed away in 2016, he received an award posthumously through Rossmore for working with the big band. And Danny caught wind of it, that I was going to be performing a song. And I was my dad's sidekick. So without him there, being on stage was absolutely terrifying. And Danny caught wind and showed up at my show, or at the show, sorry. And he broke the ice, showing me pictures of his little Mickey G, making me cry and smile all at the same time. And I'll never forget looking down while singing the song and seeing his face. And, you know, I saw my dad, and I saw every single one of you guys, and we're so lucky. We are so lucky to have had Danny, you know, but we'll see him again, huh?
Is there anyone else? Anybody else that wanted to say a little something, or no pressure? Pops, are you calling? Well, if we don't have any other stories to share, I think it's time for Maverick to come on up. Oh, yeah. I need to go grab my instruments. Okay. So after Maverick plays, we're going to close with a song. And this was a song that my dad would sing all the time for how long? Like 15 years, probably? I don't know what this I'm not going to say what the song is yet. I'll wait till it plays. But he would sing it all the time. Uh-huh. And I know it would be perfect to end with this. While they're out, Megan did decide that she's not going to sing today. Come on, Meg. I know. She wasn't sure if she'd be able to get through it. But, yeah. But Maverick's going to carry the torch and perform for us. Carry on the family tradition after he gets his instrument. I just have to say, Dave, you remind me so much of my dad. You guys both have like such a strong speaking voice. Yeah, and my dad's singing voice too. Yeah, I felt like everything was just kind of meant to be, how everything just fell into place for this special day today. We picked up our shirts this morning. Got that just in the nick of time. The DP on here is for Daniel Paul. Lots of times my dad would just sign things DP. I think my mom would say dipstick. But that's not an S. It doesn't really work, no. Okay, one time my dad woke up, Doug reminded me of this story, looked out the window, and he saw cows in the front yard. The cows are not in the front yard. They're in the back of the ranch. And he looked out, and he's like, so this is my life. Never thought it would be like this. Okay. You can come on up here. You get to pick whichever mic you want to use. Yes. You can absolutely sit up there. I'm sure your mom can figure it out. Without further ado, may I introduce to you Maverick Gillette.
Hard to be on stage without the man.
I'll be the man.
You'll be the man?
I'll be the man.
How about, I'll just sing part of the song that your dad came and watched me sing. Bear with me. I haven't been able to really be on stage since I've lost my dad, so. Okay. There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who'll watch over me. I'm a little lamb who's lost in the wood. I know I could always be good for someone who'll watch over me.
Are you guys ready to find out what this song is that my dad would sing all the time? Okay, here we go. Ed, would you please?
Blame it all on my roots. showed up in boots and ruined your blind tie affair. The last one to know, the last one to show, I was the last one you thought you'd see there. And I saw the surprise and the fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne. And I toasted you, said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never hear me complain. 'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. So I've got friends in low places. Well, I guess I was wrong. I just don't belong. But then I've been there before. Everything's alright. I'll just say goodnight and I'll show myself to the door. Hey, I didn't mean to cause a big scene. Just give me an hour and then we'll always hide that ivory tower that you're never now. 'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. Yeah, I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down
Oh, man. Good job.